Hi there, my name's Jason Redding, and today I'll be talking to you about genomics and showing the impact within the SA Merino breed. We at SA Studbook received a total of 1,415 SA Merino genotypes across 3 different SNP chips. These 3 SNP chips show high compatibility between each other, and all can be included in a genetic evaluation that includes genomics. Of these 1,415 genotypes, we excluded 23 profiles due to our quality control pipelines. These were either excluded due to having poor call rates, being duplicated animals across 2 different chips, or we felt that the animal's profile was highly unreliable. After excluding these profiles, we were able to match all of these animals with animals registered on Logix to thus have a current reference population of 1,392 animals across 11 different flocks. This consists of 75 rams, 1,317 ewes, with all these animals being born between 2000 and 2018. All these animals already have measurements, as well as may have quite a numerous amount of progeny with measurements. There were 11 flocks, with 5 of these flocks having over 100 animals and 2 flocks having over 350 animals currently in the reference population, with the remaining 6 flocks only having 1 genotyped animal each. The genotypes are included in the BLUP genetic evaluation using the single-step methodology. This adjusts the pedigree relationship matrix by identifying the true genetic relationship between all the genotyped animals in the genomic reference population. This increases the accuracy of estimating the breeding value, as we know that animals in the same breed are genetically related, and the genetic evaluation is not limited by the traditional pedigree that only uses known parentage. Looking at this table below, all the traits that we include in the genetic evaluation are listed. The R-squared value is an indication of the deviation between the traditional breeding value and the genomic breeding value, with the value closer to 1 indicating a minimal change in the breeding value and a value closer to 0.9 indicating that there is a change in the breeding values. If you look at the traditional accuracy range, especially for those traits from wool score, conformation score, and the fertility traits, there are animals in this reference population that at a traditional breeding value level have accuracies of 0, with some animals having quite high accuracies, as these animals most probably have a full pedigree, themselves are measured, as well as have many progeny that are measured. If we move over to the genomic accuracy range and genomic accuracy averages, we can see that there has been quite a substantial gain, especially with the traits total weight weaned, number lambed weaned, age at first lambing, and the interlambing periods. According to the literature, we know that genomics will have the greatest effect on traits that are sex limited, have low heritability, and are measured late in life. If you look at the genomic accuracy range, you will see that there are no longer animals with an accuracy value of 0. That the lowest value is now, for the wool and conformation scores, is 46, and that the total weight weaned and number weight weaned is about 30, and the age at first lambing having a 38. If you look at the maximum of the first interlambing period at the traditional level, it's 75 and 64, and it is now 90 for both the first and second interlambing periods, with gains of over 10% for those 2 traits, with second interlambing period having an average gain of 14 points with regards to the accuracy of that breeding value. Looking at the gains in accuracy at an individual level, We will start with total weight weaned and number of lambs weaned, with both of these having between 6 and 7% gains on average. But if we look at the animals at an individual level, you will see that the animals in 2000 have on average a lower gain than the animals from 2013, 2014 and onwards, with some animals, those circled in red from 2005 and 2007, having quite substantial gains in their accuracy values. Upon closer investigation, that animal right at the top that had a gain of 60, she lacks a pedigree. But although she is genetically related to the animals at a traditional level, because we cannot infer which animal she is related to due to a lack of a pedigree, we give her an accuracy value of 0. But now that she has been included in the genomic reference population, and she can be in her genetic relatedness can be inferred across the rest of the genomic population, her accuracy value for most of the traits that we have included in the genetic evaluations is now about 60%. You will see that with the majority of these slides that will follow, that the animals that are younger, that have less progeny in comparison to the animals in the reference population born between 2000 and 2010, which have numerous progeny, those younger animals will have higher gains or higher changes in accuracy due to being included in the genomic population. If we look at maternal weaning weight, which is a lowly heritable genetic trait, we on average see gains of 10 to 20% in accuracy for animals with minimal progeny records, whereas we also see lower gains for animals with many progeny, as well as those unrelated to other animals in the genomic reference population. If you look at the graph, the x-axis is the conventional or traditional BLUP accuracy, while on the left we have a genomic accuracy. And you will see the animals that have had a gain deviate from that diagonal line that goes from 0 upwards. So those animals on the diagonal have had no change in their accuracy, while the rest of the animals that are like are making like a bulge, those animals have had gains in accuracy. As previously mentioned, the traits that animals are measured for, as well as have a high heritability, will see lower gains in accuracy. So here for clean fleece weight, which animals are measured for when they undergo a wool test, these animals are having average gains of 5 to 10% in accuracy, mainly the animals that have minimal progeny records or have missing pedigree information. Looking at the wool and conformation scores, which we observe gains of between 5 and 20% in accuracies for these animals that have been genotyped, you can see that there is this bulge here above the diagonal. If you look at the far left, you'll see that there was this animal that had an accuracy of 0 because she had no known parentage, and thus her pedigree information was incomplete. She now has an average accuracy of 60. And on all the following graphs, you will see this U from 2007 have these gains in accuracy. Looking at age at first lambing, which is a sex-limited and lowly heritable trait, we can see quite substantial gains in accuracy from a conventional accuracy, with these animals here between 20 and 40% accuracies, and a genomic accuracy they now have between 50 and 70. Their accuracy is between 50 and 70, these animals that are bulging out, with these two animals at the top having quite high accuracy values now. Again, looking at age at first lambing, but separating the animals based on their year of birth, we once again see that the animals born after 2010, i.e. the younger animals, have substantial changes in accuracy, or their gains in their accuracy of their breeding values due to the incorporation of genomics. If you look at 2018, there are 3 dots. Those are 3 rams that have been born in 2018. if we look at logics, those 3 rams have quite a few progeny born in 2020 and 2021, but those progeny lack lambing records themselves. They have not been measured for any fertility traits. But by genotyping these 3 rams, we are seeing a gain in their accuracy, or a change in their accuracy, of between 10 and 25% for age-at-first lambing. The trait that is benefited the most from including a reference genomic population is the interlambing periods. If we look at interlambing period 2, here we are seeing gains of between 5 and 40%, with some animals getting a gain of about 60 to 70%. Remember that this trait is sex limited and is the trait that is measured last in all the traits included in the genetic evaluation. It is the trait that is expressed the latest in life. We see the animals between 10 and 20% accuracy now have accuracy values ranging between 40 and 65%. So these fertility traits are the traits that are going to be the most benefited from including animals in a genetic reference population. Looking at the genotyped animal population at a flock level, here we have flock 2323. Each bar represents a trait measured and included in the genetic evaluation. The purple bar is the average traditional accuracy value of all the animals in this flock that have been genotyped, with the green bar above the pink bar indicating the average gain in accuracy when we include genomics. As previously mentioned, we do not see major gains with regards to the highly heritable traits that are consistently measured, those being weaning weight, clean fleece weight, fiber diameter, and staple length. But for the fertility traits like age-at-first lambing, the interlambing periods, and the total weight weaned and number of lambs weaned, we are seeing quite substantial gains. Keep in mind that this reference population is made up of animals that have recorded pedigrees that themselves are measured, as well as have numerous progeny that have been measured. So the gains that we are seeing here are quite minimal as compared to animals that would be genotyped that may be born in 2020 and 2021. For example, those 3 rams that were born in 2018 who have been measured for some traits but cannot be measured for fertility traits themselves, and as well do not have numerous progeny that have yet been measured for those fertility traits. Moving on to flock 888, which has over 300 animals genotyped in the reference population, we see the same trend with regards to the previous flock, and we will see the same trend with the next flocks I will show you, that the gains with the highly heritable measured traits, such as weaning weight and the wool traits, we are seeing average gains of between 5 and 10%. But with regards to the fertility traits, the lowly heritable sex limited ones, we are seeing good gains, good average gains in accuracy. Flock 237 is a good flock to look at with regards to the average gain of these genotyped animals. If we look at interlambing period 1 and 2 at this flock, we are seeing gains of over 10 to 20% for these traits, which is very good. And this indicates that what we are reading in the literature about including genomics, we are seeing at a practical level. Another flock where we are seeing good gains across all the traits is flock 3172. We're seeing good gains with the fertility traits, as well as the conformation and wool scores, as well as with weaning weight maternal, which we know is the lowly heritable genetic trait that isn't measured, but is inferred through the weaning weight direct. Flock 1757, we are seeing very good gains with genomic in their accuracies across all the traits, even with weaning weight direct and body weight and staple length. Total weight weaned and number lambs weaned, we are seeing very good gains. But we are seeing the most beneficial gains, as previously mentioned and expected, with the fertility traits. So in conclusion, the incorporation of a reference genomic population in the SA Merino breed has been completed. And from the results that you have seen, it is beneficial in improving the accuracy of all the traits, especially those of low heritability, those that are measured late in life, and those that are sex limited, i.e. the maternal and fertility traits. One must keep in mind though that the reference population is only 1,392 animals, and in comparison to the total pedigree of the SA Merino, which at the last BLUP evaluation consisted of 780,000 animals that have been recorded since the establishment of the SA Merino breed, we are seeing good gains in these low heritability and maternal traits. One may argue that by incorporating a genotype of an animal into a genetic evaluation, that they do not need to measure the traits anymore. This is not right. It is still essential for one to measure the animals for the traits to ensure accurate selection. Because the more we measure, the more we know. And taking from Dr. Japie van der Westhuizen's talk at SASAS, as well as our previous symposium last week, that phenotype is king. We need to measure these animals to know what the range of the expression of these traits is, and that the genotype is the queen. So the incorporation of these genotypes will go hand in hand with the recording programs that the SA Merino breeders have already established. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And what I can tell you is that we will be rolling out the use of these genomically enhanced breeding values in October of this year. Once again, my name is Jason Redding, representing SA Studbook. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the webinar.